All right, welcome back. So we're just going to finish up our animation here. So far we've created the animation, we've created all the bounce, and the ball is moving in a wavy-like manner. So it looks like, the motion is at least that we set the keyframes right, but there's still something wrong with the way it's bouncing. It's sort of like floating. It's like as if we drop this on top of a wave and it's following a wave. So let's see how to fix that. So remember earlier we were talking about tangent types and we set the first and last keyframe to linear. Now if we set all these keyframes to linear, that's not necessarily going to fix the problem, because then it's just going to look like it moves very straight up and down. And we don't want to do that. But what we do want to do is kind of fix, just set keyframes on this throughout the animation. And the reason why we want to do that is because we want to be able to edit the keyframes and set all the attributes. So you notice like the ones I did in between. So if you go to the first frame, see everything is red. That means I've keyframed everything. And the ones I use the auto keyframing on, when I changed the motion upward, it only keyframed the attribute that was changed. So it only changed, say, the upward motion of this, and it didn't change any other attributes. So those are animated. They're changing over between these two keyframes and not in this keyframe. So I want to go ahead and set those for each one so that I have all the keyframes here, and you'll see why later. So we want to go ahead and hit the S key and just go to each in between keyframe that was auto keyed, and we just want to key all the attributes just to make this a little bit easier to edit. And so the next thing we want to do, and this won't really change the look of your animation much, but if we go to the side view now and we play that animation, right? So we got that bouncing ball animation. So you'll see it's consistently moving up and down. Well, not really consistent. See, it's sort of moving across consistently, but the bounces are varied like we want, but still a little bit strange, right? So we want that ball to really hit the ground hard. We want the arc-like motions to be smooth, but we don't want the part where it hits the ground to be smooth. So let's go ahead and fix that. So we'll go ahead into our window, and so we'll go to the animation editors and we'll open up the graph editor here. So the graph editor shows all of our motions here, and so you can see like there's sort of a different, what we call, these are animation curves. So you notice that most of them are just sort of linear. So you'll see like this red one here, there's basically a keyframe. When I set a keyframe, I set a keyframe for every single attribute. So this would be the translate X, and remember that's moving from left to right across the screen. So then there's all the in-between keyframes there. They don't really do much because these keyframes are really the important ones, and that's why the auto key doesn't really set keyframes there. I went ahead and told you to set those, and you'll see why. So let's go ahead and go to the Y translate. So this is really the one we want to work with here. The other attributes are not so important yet. They will be a little bit later, so let's bear with me on that and we'll fix this. So basically we want the ball to hit the ground and hit it very solidly. So I'm going to marquee around just these keyframes. Remember, the first and last one are linear. It doesn't matter whether you select them or not, because we are going to convert them to linear tangents. So we'll go to tangents and go to linear, and so now notice how those tangents change from flat. So this is a flat tangent, basically. You'll see the little handles like you might be familiar with from Adobe Illustrator or another program that does either Bezier curves or B-spline or some sort of spline editing. But you'll see that, so now we have this smooth arc, and this is part of the principles of animation in Disney. Set up the 12 principles of animation. One of them was arc-like motions for natural characters, right? So let's take a look at the animation for now. I'll just close this out for now and we'll play it back. So we got a nice, a much nicer animation going there.